All right, so Y2K, directed by Kyle Mooney, just came out last weekend. I had to make sure, looking at IMDb, that this wasn't directed by Fred Durst. We will get back to that. I didn't really know what to think about it. I saw some promotional images where I was like, okay, this is kind of cool with the costume design and stuff like that. It does feel like it takes place around that time period. I was like, all right, but I didn't really see that much of the trailers or anything, so I really didn't know what to expect. I don't know what the reviews are looking like. So I walked in just I was like, okay, I'll let the movie be what it's going to be. And then I walked in, and it was pretty much a private showing because nobody was there. I was like, oh, wow, the theater's completely empty. That's rare. Like, I've seen some movies that have flopped hard, and still there was a couple of people in there with me. Like, there's like maybe 5 or 6 people in there. It's mainly empty, but not completely empty. This was completely empty. So Eli, played by Jaden Martell, and Danny, played by Julian Dennison. They are in high school. I think they're graduating soon, things like that. It's about to be Y2K, so they're kind of excited about that. But they don't plan on actually doing anything. They're just gonna like kind of sit around and play video games like they usually do. They don't have any friends other than each other, things like that. But they decide to actually go to a party that they heard about earlier. They drink and things like that, and they decide, you know what, we're gonna go. And Laura, played by Rachel Zegler, is a character that Eli really likes, and so she's gonna be there. Like, okay, so they go there. Danny's doing pretty good, right? He comes out of his shell, and people are kind of liking him. But Eli's doing horrible at this party, right? He's still an outcast because he has really no self-esteem and can't talk to the girl he likes or anything, and he has really no personality at all. But anyway, Y2K happens, and pretty much immediately, technology just starts going crazy and killing these kids, murdering these kids. I mean, it's really bad. And so it turns out that there's an apocalyptic scenario going on where pretty much all the technology is attacking, killing people, even taking them and putting chips in their head and trying to like enslave them. Pretty much, it's happening everywhere, and the technology is trying to take over the world. So, what did I think about this movie? I thought it was a piece of shit. I hated this movie. Um, it's rare that I hate a movie this much. I mean, it was obnoxious. I was really annoyed watching it. But positives, on a surface level, right? Because I was born in '94, so I was, alive for Y2K, but still really young. I don't remember much of it. So, I don't have that same nostalgia or whatever as other people might have. But if you do have that, there is an attempt to have that 90s aesthetic. They'll start, somebody will have a camera, they'll start shooting video, and then it looks like, video looked like back then. We got some dial up, which I actually remember that. So there's things there, just like with any movie that takes place in like the 80s or 90s or whatever. Of course, they're going to put those things and make sure that they have plenty of things for people to recognize and things like that. So that's kind of fun. There's also plenty of songs too, and I actually like the soundtrack. That was kind of fun. Performances, I think just about everybody was serviceable. I don't think the direction is all that good, especially when it comes to the actors and things that they have to do. But I mean, the dialogue is so bad. I mean, there's only so much you could have done anyway. But probably the best scene in the movie, the scene that you would go to see this movie for, even, is when things first start to happen and the technology is all just killing these kids. And I mean, they're really getting killed. One of the kids was tricked by either the dishwasher, the oven, or something in the kitchen, and then flew into the microwave, head into the microwave and everything. People are getting set on fire, getting their heads cut off, their arms cut off, things like that. There's plenty of gore going on here. It's rated R, so they definitely go there with the kills and things. So there was some entertainment to be had, at least with that aspect. I think that's about it. This movie, I hated everybody in this thing just about. So we can start off with Eli. So Eli is the main character, and he's that character. I mean, really, they're just blatantly doing like a rip off of something like maybe Superbad. Like you have Danny, he's the character that's more outgoing, and he's like, hey, we gotta get fucked. We gotta get these. We gotta you gotta talk to girls. Hey, talk to the girl that you like. And then Eli is the one that's a lot more quiet, has clearly low self esteem, can't finish his sentence. He's very awkward when he's talking to the girl he likes, or really anybody, but Danny. Um, so Eli, though, with that being his character, he could still be endearing. You could still root for him. Like, hey, he's, get your shit together, right? Gain some self esteem. Finish a sentence when you talk to people, right? Like, you can get out of this and stop being so much of an outcast. But you don't get that with this character. Really, you're just like, I don't like this character, and I don't know why we're following him so much, right? Like, Danny's annoying too, but like, we can at least go to him because it just it was really cringy watching him try to talk to Rachel Zegler's kid Laura. It was really, really cringe. Some of the things that he was saying. I mean, the dialogue is so fucking bad. But especially when he's trying to talk to Laura early on, I was like, man, I can't. I don't know if I can do this. And he has no chemistry with his friend Danny. They've been friends forever. No chemistry at all. I don't even know why they're friends. And he has absolutely, I just talked about the dialogue, no chemistry with Rachel Zegler's character. No, none. So the movie's trying to make you think like, oh, well, she's popular and he's not. Oh, it can still happen, right? You can still root for him to get the girl. And you don't. There's no chemistry. I don't believe it at all that there's anything between these two. So every time it gets brought up, I'm like, hurry up and move on because this is not working. So the other characters, I mean, at the party, there's all these groups there, these different groups, and they're all just blatant caricatures and stereotypes. The jocks are stereotypical asshole jocks. You got characters that are into hip hop, and so they're breaking into freestyles, bad freestyles, and and having black, like pretty much black sense. The black sense were really getting on my fucking nerves, man. I'm not gonna lie. Not that I'm offended by them or anything like that, but I was like, man, you guys are really forcing this, and it's cringy as hell. There's a character with long hair. He's doing freestyles and things. He was obnoxious. I was like, man, I can't take this with the way these characters are talking. The character that was really bad. I mean, we're in full clown show. Is there's a character that has dreads. Clearly, is a stoner. I mean, you even see him smoking weed multiple times. And so he's talking about, he's going into different things. Hey, they get high. Hey, why does the word laser have an S in it and things like that? He's going into all this different, high, little the things that just random thoughts that are coming into his head. Things like that. But that's when we're in full caricature mode. Like, this doesn't feel authentic at all. This dude, this dude, and the direction is off too because he's just really awkward too with his delivery. But I was like, this is like I'm watching a bad skit that takes place during this time. Like, this is bad, and the movie at different points tries to be funny too. Like, there's a part with a porta potty that's supposed to be funny and things like that, but it's not. So, I mean, the movie is constantly trying to find its identity. It starts off kind of being like a super bad type thing. All these teens that are kind of outcasts. They want to go to a party. They want to actually be cool and not be seen as losers. Things like that. But then it goes into the whole technophobe, like the apocalyptic thing with Y2K and all that. Where you have the technology attacking them and stuff like that, which is kind of fun, like I said. But then the technology comes together and becomes like these robots and things, and it looks ridiculous. It's not scary. Like, there's nothing scary about this movie. It doesn't really feel like a horror movie, right? Maybe is it trying to be a horror comedy? I actually don't know because it's not funny like at all. When they like explain what's actually going on, which I won't spoil completely, but like, oh, the technology is like, oh, the way you've treated us, whatever. So they're coming together and they're trying to take over the world, and they've taken humans and they're going to put the chips in them and have them working for them, and basically they're like robots once they put the chips in them. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, why would they be killing them then if they need them for them to be more advanced or whatever they're doing when they put the chips in them? Why are they killing them? And even with them killing them, what determines whether they'll kill them or bring them back and put a chip in them? I mean, so that right there, it breaks down. It's really contrived nonsense in the third act when it comes to the way that they actually take on this program or bug, whatever it is. I mean, that third act, the movie is already horrible. That third act, we are in full clown show. Like it is completely ridiculous, but not fun, not funny, and there's an extra added level of secondhand embarrassment here, and that's when Fred Durst gets involved. He directed. There was another movie he directed. It was horrible. The Fanatic with John Travolta. And I remember there was a scene in that where somebody puts on Limp Bizkit, and they're like, "Oh man, you know this?" He's talking to his kid. "Oh no, Limp Bizkit. Oh, they're so great." And I remember watching that movie and going, "Man, this is fucking shameless. You have no shame, do you?" But this is so much worse. Fred Durst comes into this as himself. I guess there's kind of some de aging going on, but he doesn't look like he did back then, right? Like it didn't work. But the movie, I'm thinking, okay, this is a cameo, right? It's kind of lame, but whatever. It's a cameo. He'll be in it for a little bit, maybe die. But no, this becomes Fred Durst's movie in that third act. I mean, God, it is so sycophantic for Fred Durst. Really, the Limp Bizkit as a whole, but especially Fred Durst, it's way too fucking much. I was like, bro, like, what is going on? He produced this movie or something? What's happening? Because it is so. There's even a character going into like, oh man, yeah. At one point, he's like, my life would be nothing without Limp Bizkit. And then this other character that's a big fan of his and his music is like, no, my life would be nothing without Limp Bizkit. I'm like, fuck, Jesus, shit. It is so forced. It is so. It's like, man, get the fuck off his dick. Jesus, it is. It is so embarrassing. It is. It is on the level, and that's for the rest of the movie. After that, he walks in and takes over the whole movie. It's like, what, bruh? That's about it. It's an unfunny, like, mess of a movie that's just obnoxious and just got on my last fucking nerve. I hated it. I was so ready for it to be over, but as they kept going, it was painful. It was hard to get to those credits, right? You can enjoy, the kills, at a certain point in the movie. You can enjoy the kills and the late 90s of it all. But really, other than that, it's it's not good. It is so atrocious, especially when it gets to the end, man. Do not watch this. It is not worth it in any form. Don't rent it, nothing. Early on, I was like, maybe a rental. And I was like, no, this is trash. As it went on, especially with what was going on at the end with your boy Fred Durst, this is a complete shit. This is my lowest rating. This is one of the worst movies of the year. Easy, at least for me. This was really hard to sit through. Like, really hard. So, yeah, it's one of those movies. Like, how does this kind of thing get made? I don't know. But whatever. That's Y2K. Complete shit, like I said. And yeah, that's it. Subscribe or we're done.